What if your greatest strength isn't how hard you push, but how graceful you pause? Welcome to If you've ever felt burnt out, over responsible, or trapped in a pattern of pushing, this video is for you. Welcome to a deeper look at this 34th shadow work. The shadow of force, moving through it to receive the gift of strength and embodying the divine power of majesty. But first, I'll start with a parable called The Lion and the Lantern. At this point, please close your eyes and visualize the story I am about to share. Long ago, in a time when beasts ruled the earth, a lion was born beneath a thunderstorm. Fierce and fast, it outpaced every creature in its pride. The other lions called it Thorin, which meant force in the ancient tongue. As Thorin grew, so did his strength. He chased gazelles into exhaustion, roared louder than the wind, and battled rivals without mercy. To all who saw him, he was unstoppable, majestic in power. But within Thorin's chest, something hollow echoed. Each conquest felt fleeting. Each roar felt tired. One day he chased a deer deep into the hidden part of the jungle, where he found not prey, but a woman tending a lantern beneath an old tree. She didn't run. She looked into his eyes and said only this: "You've mastered the outer hunt, but you fear stillness. You fear what you are without the chase." Thorin growled, but the sound was empty. His body, once thunder, now trembled with an ache he couldn't name. The woman stood, handed him the lantern, and whispered, "True strength waits in the dark. It listens before it moves. It glows, yet does not burn." Thorin stayed beside her that night, for the first time in his life, without chasing, conquering, or proving. When he returned to his pride, he no longer roared to lead. He walked in silence, and yet every creature turned toward him. He had not lost power, he had become it. This 34th challenge invites us to explore one of the most primordial struggles in human evolution: the difference between raw force and aligned strength. This is not a challenge of intellect or even emotion. It is one of embodiment. It is the journey from instinctual survival drive to spiritual majesty. In the human design system, this energy sits in the sacral center, the engine of life force. It speaks through movement, through urgency, through the command, quote, "act now." But the dilemma is this: can we act without reacting? Can we move without forcing? Complementary to this shadow of force and its fear of vulnerability lies the complement of the shadow of superficiality and the fear of influence. With its repressive nature of feeling absent and its reactive nature of becoming hectic. So you can see how these two shadows work together to keep us in a dense loop. For those interested in doing deeper personal alchemy and wish to have a means of accelerating an understanding of shadow work, over the last 3 to 5 years, I have collected a wealth of information from various esoteric systems, namely the I Ching, human design, gene keys, the chakra systems, and astrology, as well as integrating them with the human genetic code. And in this chart, you will find the details of all the different shadows, all the different fears, the specific fears that fuel those specific shadows, all 64, all in relationship to each codon. And in this wheel, you will find 4 legends on each corner because they can't all fit on one corner or one side to make it a nice, evenly balanced square. So here is the statements from each zodiac sign, so you can see. And then we have the legend for each chakra. You'll notice that there are more than 7, and because there are more than 7, because it is including the spleen as a means to detect threats. So there's an intuitional center there. There's also a center of willpower called the thyroid, because when we are born, the thyroid is literally almost, if not as big as our heart. So we have to accommodate that. And on the other side of this, you will also find an understanding of the I Ching, hexagram system, the different trigrams, the relationship to the three-dimensional plane, the yin and the yang, and how each of the 6 lines are affiliated with different archetypes, thanks to the human design and or gene key system. And lastly, you will also find the human genetic sequence chart for all the amino acids associated with the human genetic code. But furthermore, you will also find in this chart all the different zodiacs, all 12, mixed with the human design gene key chart. Bear with me, my graphics card is not as fast as other people's on their computer, but you will see all the different fears, all the different shadows, and how they relate to each chakra in those colorful little dots. So you can see how it affects each energy center in the body and how each of them have their own repressive and reactive statements because there are 6 expressions in each challenge. Therefore, you will also find those 6 lines in there, all with their own repressive and reactive statements, their associated dilemmas from that specific shadow, which eventually will clear up, the gift from making the right choices regularly and practicing that gift with its own unique self-empowerment statement. So as you learn to vacate the trapped emotions such as sadness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and you reorient towards true self-alignment and honoring the intuition and inner authority that you possess, it will lead you towards the grace specific to that challenge. So if you would like to learn more about this and or you would like to download this file for your own personal means of translating your specific challenges in the human design system or in the gene key system, it is all there for you. All you have to go is to my website and download this PDF file. It's about 50 megabytes in size. I hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into this massive PDF with all the details about all the specific challenges you'll have in your personal self-realization path. In order to find this PDF, a link will be found down below in the description of the YouTube video. When using that elaborate and vast chart of information, you can use the human design apps found in the App Store on Google Play so that you can choose whichever speaks to you most. And as you choose whichever human design app works best for you, you can then use that towards the chart. So you get your information and your numbers. And then after that, you can use the chart as reference. For example, I use the human design app, which helps me see the specific numbers that I need to see in the top right-hand corner. The red are the unconscious. These are the ones that were imprinted when the soul decided to remain anchored in the body about 90 days before you were born, between the second and the third trimester. The black numbers indicate the conscious, more aware challenges that you know you have in your current life, based on your survival challenges and your adversities currently going on in your life. You can also find that same application in the Human Design App Store for iPhone and or iOS. before you start using the chart that you have purchased online. Thank you very much. And if you ever need more information on this and you wanted a free consultation in understanding the current challenges in your life and how it relates to human design, feel free to reach out through the links below. You can also visit thegenekeys.com. There, you will also find a different kind of chart. It relates to the same challenges and same numerical sequences as found in the I Ching and human design. And there you'll be able to find a free profile link where you can then enter in your personal information in this field and then have a look at your specific gene key profiles and understand your Venus sequence, your Venus sequence in opening up your heart, your love sequence, prosperity, and finding inner harmony. Thank you for watching this short introduction into the Wheel of Evolutionary Change and the chart that I've shown you in brief. And hopefully through those apps and through this PDF, you will find a way to decode the challenges you face and understand how to make the best choices for you and everyone you were meant to impact positively in your life. Now back to the shadow work and the evolutionary change in this video. Force as an evolutionary tool. The shadow of force emerged for a reason. It was essential for survival. When we were prey, when we were hunted, when we had to conquer environments and control outcomes, force kept us alive. This shadow is written into our biology. It lives in our muscles, our reactions, our adrenaline responses. It makes us push when we should pause. It makes us fight when we should listen. In ancient times, this force was sacred, but now in a world that no longer runs from lions or starves in winter, force becomes a distortion. It overcompensates. It burns us out. It's why so many of us feel like we're always trying and never arriving. The repressive and reactive faces of force. Shadow never looks the same in everyone. This 34th challenge expresses this one in two polarities. The repressive. The person hides their power. They fear conflict. They've learned, if I stay small, I stay safe. They're exhausted from trying to meet each other's needs while suppressing their own. They say, I'll let them lead. I don't have what it takes. It's not worth the fight. The reactive component is the person overuses their power. They dominate, interrupt, and hustle. They've learned that, quote, if I don't take charge, I'll lose everything. They say, I'll push through it. No one else can do it like me. I'll rest when it's done. But neither polarity brings peace, because peace isn't born of force. It's born of alignment. Why this shadow exists and the divine design. Why do we carry this shadow? Why is it etched into our bones, our breath, and our lineage? Because spiritual strength isn't inherited, it's forged. This shadow exists to test our relationship with power, not just outer power, titles, speed, success, but inner power, the courage to pause, the grace to trust the timing, the willingness to listen before acting. The shadow of force exists because love is not passive. Love is strength made wise. And the more we evolve, the more this specific challenge asks, will you let go of trying and let yourself become? Understanding the spiritual invitation from transitioning from force to majesty. The ascended state of this challenge is majesty. But what is that, really? Majesty is the lion that no longer needs to roar. It's the person who moves mountains by standing still. It's presence without posturing. Majesty doesn't need attention. It radiates it. And in you and all of us, that same potential waits. Not when you force it, not when you perform for it, but when you let go of fear and choose the grace of majesty. This is a path towards spiritual ascension. To remember who you are beneath the armor, to reclaim your strength without apology or aggression, to realize your power was never in the pushing, but in the presence you've always known you can carry. This video isn't here to fix us. You're not broken. This shadow isn't a mistake. It's part of a map. And this 34th one is not asking one to stop being strong. It's asking one to become strong through love. Wherever you are on your journey, self-effacing, overcompensating, somewhere in between, this challenge is part of one's evolution. Stay rooted, stay sovereign, and remember, strength is not how hard you try, it's how deeply you trust. Thank you for being here and watching this video. Thank you for carrying power with grace, even when you don't feel ready. If this video helped you see your shadow a little bit more clearly, consider subscribing. We'll keep exploring these evolutionary patterns of change, not to escape the human experience, but to fully embody it. And if you've ever felt like you're too much or not enough, just know you have that inner strength of the lion within you. You carry the light of that lantern as well, and your presence has power. Thank you for watching this video in its entirety. Down below, you'll also find a few links, one of them being how to reach out to me in order to have a free consultation on the inner work that needs to get done. After that, there's a link to my website so that you can get to know me a little better. You'll also find 3 links for 3 different groups. The first one is Divination Systems, where you learn more about shadow work and how to do your where you learn more about your shadow work, learn more about internal alchemy and the path to your self-realization. The next one is Emotional Intelligence and Mastery. There you'll understand how to harness the emotions for creative, mutual, benevolent exchanges and co-creation, as opposed to feeling enslaved by them and the shadows. The last one is Emotional Trauma Release Group, where you learn how to purge what you haven't processed over years, so you can heal where the trauma lies by vacating what doesn't need to be there anymore and embodying what nourishes your soul and your energy body. God bless you on this journey. Namaste, and good life to you all.